Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Good evening, Assalamu alaikum, and welcome to all the roundup of sports tonight at Sports Extra. I am your host, Ahmed Nawaz.
I'm youth football coach and sports analyst Sabeel Hazir.
And I'm K. Asif, cricket commentator and sports analyst.
Now, before I give you the lineup that we've got for tonight, Sabeel is going to have a very special message to send out. Of course, it's a tragedy, of course, in the world of sports, but Sabeel, over to you.
Thank you, Ahmed. So before we move on to what we have in a very action-packed show for you, we start off on a somber note. On December 28th, only a day ago, John Earl Madden passed away. Now, for those of you who do not know who this great man was, the commissioner of NFL, Roger Goodell, described Madden, stating that he was football, American football that is. That is a very apt description for a man who is an icon in American football in every sense of the word. In American football, when his playing career was cut short due to injury, he didn't let that hamper him. It never even took off due to injury, but he found his way into coaching. That is where he ended up eventually becoming head coach of the Oakland Raiders, which saw him win a Super Bowl in January of 1977. For many, that would be the culmination of a lifetime's worth of work. But for John Madden, the hard work and the will to dominate other fields other than the American football field led him to achieve success in many other areas as well. Perhaps his biggest contribution was lending his likeness, voice and name to the now best-selling video game Madden in 1988. He also had a small career in film and entertainment, but another career which is worthy of a Hall of Fame, which is worthy of being inducted into any Hall of Fame in the world, is his broadcast career. He was a broadcaster for a number of decades and he achieved success there as well. But no matter how you knew him, his accolades warranted adoration. So our condolences to his friends and families, and we would like to thank John Madden for all that he did for the world of sport from our corner of the world here in Pakistan. We thank you very much for your contributions, and to his friends and families, our deepest condolences.
Deepest condolences indeed. And, like he said, Madden was football. Madden NFL, the most famous show of American football history, would surely be one of the highlights of his career. And as Sabeel mentioned, that then Madden NFL, the game that came out, I was one of those lucky ones who had played them on PlayStation 1, which was the latest version that came out when they moved on to the new technology of PlayStations. So lucky enough to have played that game as well. But for all those who have been involved with American football in any sense, they probably send their hearts out to John Madden, as Sabeel has just mentioned. And I think the whole team of Sports Extra and PTV in general would definitely like to pay our respects to him, and surely a great legend that is no more, leaving behind a legacy for others to follow as well. Now, moving on to the lineup that we've got tonight. Tonight we'll be starting off with cricket indeed, and in cricket we'll be talking about the Under-19 Asia Cup that has now moved on to the finale, almost the finale now. Tomorrow we'll be having the two semi-finals. Pakistan is going to be up against Sri Lanka and India is going to be facing Bangladesh. And then the final is going to be held on the 1st of January. That is the new year when the final will be held. What we're hoping for is a Pakistan-India final, aren't we? Because we'd like to beat them again. We've already done that. So you never know, but the boys in green are in immense confidence and we believe that they can pull this off. After that, we'll be discussing domestic cricket, the longest format of the game. The final of the Quaid-e-Azam Trophy is underway from the National Stadium in Karachi. Action is live on PTV Sports right now. Khyber Pakhtunkhwa have given a target of 384 runs for Northern to win. Northern a short while ago were 145 for 4. They had Faizan Riaz on the crease along with Rohail Nazir, so needed another 250 runs in about 43 overs. So, there is a chance, but of course, it's going to be a very, very resilient Northern if they chase it down from here, because Khyber Pakhtunkhwa are producing results with the ball once again. After that, we'll be moving on to football, and in football, we will be discussing the English Premier League, where Leicester City have stunned Liverpool 1-0. Lookman getting that lone goal, and Salah's penalty was saved by Kasper Schmeichel. That was absolutely superb. So the Foxes have beaten the Reds 1-0, and elsewhere it was Crystal Palace who downed Norwich City 3-0, and Norwich, of course, almost certain of a relegation now, bottom of the table. So we'll be talking about football in detail as well. So starting off with cricket on the Asia Cup Under-19, we've got a report. Let's go take a look and then we'll come back and discuss it with our experts.
The Under-19 Pakistan team has booked a spot in the semi-final of the Under-19 Asia Cup 2021 after defeating the host United Arab Emirates by 21 runs. This was their third win in a row of the group stage matches after defeating Afghanistan and India. They finished top of Group A with 6 points in ACC Under-19 Asia Cup 2021. Earlier, India ensured a 4-wicket victory over a gritty Afghanistan, after which India were placed second in the group behind Pakistan, confirming their spot in the semi-finals of the tournament. The team has 4 points with 2 wins and 1 loss from their 3 matches of the group stage. Bangladesh Under-19 team with 5 points on the table, top Group B with 2 wins from their 3 matches of the group stage. Whereas fourth semi-finalists of the tournament, Sri Lanka secured second place in Group B with 2 wins from their first 3 matches of the group stage, meaning they earned 5 points as well. The first semi-final will be played at ICC Academy Ground, Dubai between Pakistan and Sri Lanka, while the second semi-final will be played at Sharjah Cricket Stadium between India and Bangladesh. Both semi-finals will take place on 30th December.
Well, there you have it. All you need to know about the Asia Cup Under-19. The semi-final lineup has been completed. They're going to be commencing tomorrow. K. Asif, I'll come to you first of all. How exciting, Pakistan Under-19 in a semi-final once again, where they've got a chance to face India. But on the other side, what we just heard, India is playing in Sharjah. Now, Sharjah has been a sort of a haunting ground. Not a hunting ground, but a haunting ground for India.
Yes, that's right. First of all, I'm pretty much happy for Pakistan Under-19, the way they played, the way they started this Asia Cup, and 3 consecutive victories for them. And the most important victory was against India, because whenever you beat India in any format, in any game, anywhere, you got some confidence. And that's why the guys are pretty much happy. They're enjoying their game. And tomorrow's game would be really important for Pakistan. And if you are playing against Sri Lanka, let me tell you, they have a couple of good players, as Sadisha Rajapakse, very good batter, and you would have to come up with an aggressive approach against him, and their bowler Matisha. That's it. You have to concentrate over these 2 players. And the other side, the Pakistan side, if you talk about, the Pakistan and Sri Lanka Under-19 played, if you talk about last 5 games, Pakistan is once again on the top notch. Pakistan won 3 games and Sri Lanka have won 2 games. So Pakistan is in good position. Zishan Zamir is bowling fantastically, got 9 wickets in 3 matches. On the other hand, if you talk about our batting, yes, Mohammad Shehzad is in very good touch after scoring a top-notch innings against India. He is in good touch. So I must say that if Pakistan won the toss, they should decide to bat first. And if they will manage to score 270, 260, would be a winning total against Sri Lanka. Because in last 3 games, Pakistan, the good thing is, as we have discussed earlier as well, that in 3 matches, 3 different man of the matches. So everyone is playing in a nice mood and they're in good touch. And coaches are working really nicely. And our spinners, especially Mehran Mumtaz, the way he bowled against UAE, got 2 wickets. So fast bowlers, batters and spinners, everyone is playing their role. We're in good mood, we're in good position. I'm happy and I'm quite sure that we will be in the finals.
Well, we certainly want to be sure, because on the other side, we know that India is facing Bangladesh. So if India can make it, we'll get another opportunity of beating them once again. We like that, don't we?
That's
so
right. Yeah.
But Sabeel, how exciting. It's the younger structure, the youth side of it, under-19s. They're in the semi-finals. Pakistan traditionally has enjoyed a great, legacy when you talk about under-19 cricket.
So it's wonderful to see us do well in any platform at any age group, but when you're talking about these young players coming through, it's lovely to see, because it gives you so much hope for the future. You mentioned our legacy. We've had our Champions Trophy winning captain Sarfraz. He came through that system. He won an Under-19 World Cup as well, if I'm not mistaken, as a captain. So we have players who've come through. Mushtaq Ahmed came through the Under-19 setup. We have players coming through that Under-19 setup, and we do seem to be able to get quite a lot out of them in the senior team as well. In Zamam ul Haq, another example. So it is good to see that they are coming through, then make it to the senior team, and hopefully they'll eventually win our senior men's team some championships as well. As for this current crop of players we have, after the first game, I think we all agreed that they needed a reaction against India. After the game against Afghanistan, was it? They needed a reaction. They were chasing a very low total and they didn't do a very good job of it. But my instincts told me that, look, they're young, There's no need to be that harsh. They will have that reaction. You just give, their coaches will tell them what went wrong and how to improve. And they did that against India, and then against the UAE, they closed them out as well. So going into this match against Sri Lanka, I think if they even, I think 270 is quite a high target for an under-19 team in this current tournament as it is. I think Asif Bhai obviously has his reasons for thinking that is a very safe target. My guess is that if we get even 230 or 240 with our bowling attack, we will be able to, if of course we bat first, we will be able to close them out, and then chasing it's a different story altogether. But I think we do have the players who can go far. But the main thing with youth cricket or youth sports is, okay, they do well here, but let's then turn those players into winners at the senior level. Let's take their success here, because we also, the examples I gave there of success, we've had people like, was it Sami Aslam, who for whatever reasons didn't quite cut it. I think he's the second highest run scorer in ODIs at that under-19 level. So he had a lot of success there, but for whatever reasons we weren't able to convert it at the senior team. So that's something where our main focus should be. But good job, really well done to this team, and I hope they make it to the final and they win. But even if they don't, they've done well, and there's a lot of potential there for us to turn into champions in the further
Definitely,
in the future. Sorry.
Definitely, a lot of potential when we talk about this Pakistan under-19 team. Always has been. We've always seen potential at that level as well. But particularly K. Asif, we've been mentioning this fact that their journey then needs to be watched very closely. They need to be worked upon. One thing is very different this time, that this under-19 comprises of some players who have either played in the second 11, the first 11, one of them even represented in the T10s, the PSL squads. So they've got a fair bit of experience. So it transcends. If you give experience, share a dressing room at such a young age, it's definitely going to help you.
Experience does matter, no doubt that, and that's why, as you mentioned, that some of them were in the dugouts in PSL, some of them have played in T10 League, as we discussed, as Zishan Zamir, he was, I think, in Deccan Gladiators. So yes, and that's why he is in good touch, and already taken 5 hole against India. So yes, whenever you are playing cricket, and then if you are giving your time, because when we talk about cricket, you speak cricket, you talk cricket, you eat cricket, you sleep cricket, and that is called professionalism. So I think that our team is in good touch, and as you said that the pathways like under 13, under 16, and then under 19, and then the couple of leagues are really supporting our system. And as there is, if we criticize that we have finished our departments, but on the other side some good facts as well, some positive vibes as well, that your team is performing really nicely with the new structure. So yes, experience does matter, and that's why we have plenty of experience in under 19. So now after this we'll move on to the upcoming World Cup. So I think it's really important that if you are finishing this tournament on the top notch and winning position, then you will be definitely your confidence touching sky.
Yes, and with the youth, it's always important when their confidence goes sky high, isn't it, Sabeel? If they've got a confidence building at this age, then that really makes them go a long way.
It's very interesting, because if you give them confidence at this age, this is the age where they can try things. This is where it should be safe for them to try things which are a bit more tricky, a bit more difficult, so that when they get to the senior level, they've actually perfected those skills. So this is where you need to give them that confidence and that encouragement that, look, go out there and play your style of cricket, try imposing yourself on the other team. For example, if you're batting and you're a little bit lower down the order, if you're afraid at this level to start slogging the ball, you're never going to have the courage to do it at the senior level. So to give that confidence to the players is very important. If you're a fast bowler and you want to bowl aggressively, this is where you do it. Because if you're timid now, you probably won't make it to the senior level, but if you do, you're going to get crushed there, because it's a mental game as much as a physical game. And coaches need to nurture that. Coaches and management, you need to nurture enough confidence that your players feel like they can go out and beat anybody, or at least give them a fight or compete. So very important, and this tournament, winning always helps. Like, winning isn't everything, and I try to teach the kids, I coach that as well, but it's a massive bonus. It makes the game more enjoyable, and it does help let you know that what you're doing is giving you results.
But yeah, definitely. But sometimes you've got players who are out of this world. They're another league. We've seen that happening at this youth structure. One of them, K. Asif, it's a slightly different question, but because he belongs to that age group, is Huraira. And if you talk about Huraira and his ability at this young age, but at the same time then we see he's not picked for any PSL franchise, not much talk about him at that level where you want him to be immediately groomed into the structure. What would you like to say about Herrera?
To be very honest, he's an extraordinary talent, and the way he performed in Qaid-e-Azam Trophy, a triple century, and before that there was a 200s as well, and in final he scored really nicely, 15 second innings, and I think 48 or 47 in first
In the
innings.
first innings, yes.
Yes, so he is an exceptional talent, and it's pretty much astonishing for me that our franchises, they were not looking on the talent like him. And if you give him chance, and if I've been an owner or I've been a selector for any franchise, I should have picked him. But the thing is that there are some priorities as well. And if you talk about that, there are some personal likings and dislikings even in our franchises as well. So yes, there are. So for me, if you want to talk about myself, if you want to ask about my choice, yes, he should be in the side.
He should be in the side, definitely. It's very important that we see players like these who really got to make it to the side now. They've done everything there is. But all the best to the Pakistan under-19 team. We hope that they are able to win this semi-final, reach the final as well. And obviously, you know, if we've got India there, it's a treat if we can beat them again. But in any case, whatever we have, we'll take that. Let's take a look at our segment recap for this segment. And on the segment recap, we discussed about the Asian Under-19 Asia Cup. That is, of course, the Under-19 Asia Cup, where we discussed the semi-final lineup completed. Pakistan facing Sri Lanka tomorrow. India facing Bangladesh. The final would be played on the 1st of January. These two semi-finals will be played tomorrow. Pakistan has their match at the ICC Academy. And, of course, India has their semi-final at Sharjah Cricket Stadium. Whoever wins, Pakistan has really done well in the tournament and would like the Green Shirts to actually, you know, make it to the final and beat the opposing team as well. But nonetheless, they've had a good tournament and their future is definitely very bright. Time now to talk about more cricket. The Qaid-e-Azam Trophy in detail. The final is underway. You can catch all the action live right now on PTV Sports from the National Stadium in Karachi. It's Khyber Pakhtunkhwa versus Northern. We talked about that as well. We talked about how teams have been dominating. And, you know, just to give you the fresh update, Northern right now are 156 for 5 in 24.5 overs, need another 228 runs to win, and they have the luxury of about 41 overs that need to be bowled as well. So still very doable, you never know, but in any case I think a result is very much adamant. And Sabeel, it's interesting if any game, any match, any sport enters the final day and it gets right down to the wire with a result expected, it's always interesting for the game.
It's always interesting for the game, and Asif, I said, guaranteed us yesterday looking down the camera that we're going to get a result. Obviously, tomorrow when we bring our viewers the news, we'll know that for certain. But it does seem to be the case. It seems like they're running towards getting all out. That's probably, I don't think anybody can realistically expect them to chase it. It's right now if you can hold on to your wickets or not. Makes it more exciting, definitely. This is one of the reasons perhaps people switch off of Test cricket, and why T20 has become so popular is because it's short and digestible. And Test cricket, you can go 5 days and not get a result, which isn't great. You want that payoff. And if you're not a cricket purist especially, you need that payoff to stay interested, and that's how you build interest in the game. So for the game overall, very important that there is a result. Hopefully when we bring you news tomorrow, there will be, although I'm not partisan to either side. I just do want there to be a very clear winner and loser, and right now there is a obviously deserving one in KP.
And then what about the bet which Ahmed was asking last night?
You win that against Sabeel. You probably win that. But you know, just for the sake of competition, I want to believe that Northern might chase this down. Asif, you remember last year's final where Hassan Ali just came out of nowhere and it became so interesting. So things like these, you know, since the past 2 seasons at least, Qaid-e-Azam Trophy has been phenomenal in terms of the quality of cricket and broadcast quality.
Yeah, to be very honest, that because we are observing and we are watching this first-class cricket for a long time, but the production and their quality is perfect. It's extraordinary. The guys are working really hard, and credit goes to PCB and the production companies as well. And if we talk about this specific match, let me tell you, let me share some stats with you that from last 2 decades, no team have able to chase 200 above than 250. So in 2000 and 2001, Karachi Whites was the team who have chased 250 53 in the final. So I think that...
So the records are against me.
Yes, yes.
But 2021 has been a funny year. We beat India. That had never happened. So I'm putting my bets right now on that.
No, you're right that. But to be very honest, once again now, KB is once again very strong.
Very strong,
And
yes.
their favorite once again in the match. Though they did not bat well yesterday. And in the last night's game, I was pretty much expecting that Iftikhar was there. And he was not aggressive, and it's against his nature. And that's why-
116 balls for 26 or something.
Yes, and that's why he lost his wicket, to be very honest. Sahibzada Farhan once again failed. Kamran Ghulam got in duck, and credit must goes to Nawaz spin bowling. He was fantastic. And you see he is getting confidence day by day. And the way he performed in Bangladesh, the way he's performing in Qaid-e-Azam Trophy, once again I think that is keeping his place once again in the national side. But one thing, now if I'm the batter and I'm representing the Northern, I would have gone for the draw. Because now this is the situation.
Against a bowling attack like this, how long can you survive?
I mean, this is the test of your this is the test of your nerves, dear.
Temperament.
Yes, temperament. And we have seen matches like that. If you do remember the Mohali test, Kamran Akmal and Abdul Razak were they played for the whole day, and the match draw.
So, Asif, there's a big difference between them. There's a big difference between.
I remember
internationals.
Anderson.
No, you are
I
right.
remember Anderson and
No,
Monty
no,
Panesar saving a test match in the Ashes.
Look, Sabil, you are right that there's a difference between national, international, and domestic. But this is what you call quality. You would have to learn from the international examples. That's why you were talking about Sami Ibrahim. That's why you were talking about Sarfraz, that the way came.
Who's Sami Ibrahim?
He's a new guy coming up. You don't know.
Sami
He's a new guy
Aslam.
coming
Sami
up.
Aslam, yeah.
Sounds like a businessman.
I beg you pardon. Sami Aslam, yeah. So, yes, we would have to follow the examples. So, this is the time if Faizan Riaz play a top-notch innings, I
He
think.
can, which he can.
Yes,
We
yes,
all know that.
Yes.
Yeah. Sabil, particularly about Iftikhar Ahmed right now. A guy known for power hitting, a guy known for his ability in T20 cricket or even in 50-over cricket down the order, a complete slogger and an insane batsman when it comes to those big shots, can change the game. Yesterday shows us that it's all about your mental ability. The way he was in this game, the way he was enjoying every delivery, and he's the captain right now and going to his players, talking to them, and when it came to bat, faced 116 deliveries for his 26 and showed us that if you're mentally strong, doesn't matter if you've got the technique or not, doesn't matter if you're a power hitter, you can still survive. Because I think that 116 deliveries made the difference last night.
That's also called being a leader.
Yeah.
You know, stepping up and doing what your team needs you to do. You see this all the time. Sometimes you have to fill in roles, especially if you're a leader in that team. And if you're a seasoned leader, if you're a seasoned player in the senior squad, for example, even if you don't have the captaincy, you have to go in and fill a role. Now, you're talking about Monty Panesar right now holding on to a wicket, right? That kind of stuff, that's not expected, but you're a seasoned international and you've gone in and you just need to do it. That's the job you need to do. And so at this level, to see players take on that responsibility and go like, look, it might not be what I'm known for, it might not be my natural game. But firstly, if you want to make it at the higher levels, at this level, you have to be a cut above everybody else. So if you want to prove you're a cut above, you should be able to be versatile. You should be able to do things that aren't your MO because you are that good. And then on top of that, to be so selfless, to sacrifice how you perhaps enjoy your cricket to get the result you need. I think it's immense, and plaudits to him. And anybody who can do that, I have a lot of respect for, and I think has a lot of leadership qualities. Whether they can do it again and again, let's hope a team isn't so poor that they keep testing their best players to do that, their captains to do that, their leaders. But when the time to step up comes, it's very impressive.
Let me quote you an example, if you allow me.
Yeah.
If I do remember that in 2010 or 2011, there was a school match in India, and there was a 3-day match, and a guy who scored 900 runs in 2 days, and the next day he was in headlines. So yes, if you want to be in headlines, you would have to do some extra.
And I bet he lost all his friends in school.
Well, Asif, this brings us to another example of resilience. You remember that Glenn McGraw and Jason Gillespie partnership against New Zealand. Ricky Ponting quoted it as one of the most funniest days of his life because these were batsmen who were in the top 10 for having the most ducks in international cricket. And both of them went on to make a 50 and 100 run partnership.
Yes.
So it can happen anytime if you're
yes.
resilient.
Yes, you're right. I mean, but once again, this time if Northern, if they want to win, they would have to sacrifice. And if you will go to sacrifice, you will lose the match. So the important thing is now you save your wickets. Now save this day, you remaining 30, 40 overs. Just play your positive cricket with positive mind, so you could save this match. And saving this match, it means that you're going for the draw. On the other side, KP, they are really good.
Yeah.
And
Need another 5 wickets to win.
yes, and I think that they could fight well.
Just to add on to that, Asif, I said we're getting a result. Now I'm a firm believer we're getting a result. Like the examples we've given of people holding out, I would like to still point out to the audience, all seasoned veterans internationals and one random Indian schoolboy. These men are neither Indian schoolboys or a variety of seasoned internationals.
but you'd have
Let's not
to
get our
learn.
hopes up. KP is probably they're going to win. Let's be honest, they're going to win, most likely.
Yeah.
If they don't,
No,
fine.
look, but
Upset happened and I'm wrong. But
last night we were discussing for the draw, and now we're discussing for the match result.
But what if it is still a draw?
I would be really happy because then credit goes to Northerns. Yeah, you'd have to learn that how to fight in these circumstances, how you could save your wickets. Dear, this is all about international cricket.
Okay, I've just been told that it's time to show Asif the red card once again. But Asif, thank you so much for joining us. Time to take a look at the segment recap. First of all, what we've discussed in this segment. And of course, we discussed the Quaid Azam Trophy in detail. We discussed about the fact that Khyber Pakhtunkhwa is up against Northern. Northern's batting was underway. It's lunch right now. They're 156 for 5. Need another many runs, but it's probably going for a result. If they need 5 wickets to win, they need a lot of runs. So probably they want to go for a draw or not. But nonetheless, it's been a good end to the Quaid Azam Trophy. On that note, we'll just say thank you to K. Asif. Go towards a short break. We'll be back with football. Stay tuned. Right, welcome back. Asif might have been shown the red card, but the game is very much alive still because now we're going to be discussing football, the English Premier League in detail. We've got a report. Let's take a look and then come back.
Michael proved to be an impenetrable wall throughout the game. Sadio Mane then missed a couple of opportunities for Jurgen Klopp's side before they were made to pay by the host in the 59th minute. Former Everton forward Lookman beat Joel Matip and rifled a shot past Alisson. Liverpool are now 6 points behind leaders Manchester City, while Leicester move up to 9th. On the other hand, Tottenham dropped 2 precious points against 10-man Southampton. Tottenham twice had the ball in the net in the second half, but neither goal stood. Spurs are still unbeaten in the league since Antonio Conte took the helm early last month. In other games, Crystal Palace cruised past bottom side Norwich 3-0.
Right, all you need to know about the English Premier League in detail. Sabeel is still with us in studios. Sabeel, the Foxes outclass the Reds. The Foxes fox the Reds, that's what I want to call it. There only 1 goal from Lookman and then of course the talisman Salah missing a penalty. So first of all, how did you see that entire game? Let's take an analysis first of all.
I think you have to give a lot of credit to the mental fortitude of Leicester. After suffering a defeat the way they did against City, it's a 3-goal defeat. They've conceded 6 goals in that match. But the way they came back and then to lose, it can be quite mentally draining to go through that. To come back and then beat second place Liverpool 1-0, very impressive. As for the game itself, Liverpool dominated. There's no doubt in people's mind that Liverpool were the better footballing team.
69% of the possession in the game.
And look at where they had the possession. They were getting into the goal. They were not getting into the goal. They were getting into the box quite frequently. Kashmir Schmeichel deserves all the credit in the world. We can talk about that penalty. I don't think Salah had made up his mind, and thus he didn't hit he didn't pick out a corner. But that's not the only thing Schmeichel did. He saved multiple chances throughout that game, really big chances. Sadio Mane and Salah, for some reason, kept firing every other shot over the bar as well. So there was that problem. So I don't think Leicester necessarily had it all together. I think they have the keeper to thank for a lot of it, and Salah and Mane having a bad day at the office. But Lookman's goal, look, when he's through there and he takes that touch into the box, it looks like he's off balance when he cuts onto his right foot. To still manage to hit it hard enough to beat Alisson at his near post, again, very impressive. I didn't expect him to score that once he had lost his balance. So Leicester, I don't think they had some massively impressive game plan, but when you're the only team, I think, in 28 matches to stop Liverpool from
shot
scoring.
on target.
One shot, but it's a goal. And you're also the only team to stop Liverpool from scoring in 28 games. You deserve some credit, even if Liverpool had a bad day at the office. All the credit in the world.
Yeah, we know Salah is mostly good when it's on rebounds. We know that. So let's be honest. And he tried that, but it didn't work, obviously.
So this is probably my curse, because I spoke about Ronaldo and Salah, how these players pounce on rebounds. To be fair, he pounced, but maybe it was not the header that he attempted. I think he misjudged his jump. He jumped a bit too early because he perhaps felt there was pressure coming on, which in that situation is understandable. Therefore, he doesn't connect well enough with the header, can't keep it down, it goes and hits the crossbar. He did bounce though, but you'd expect him to score. A player of his caliber, those are the kind of rebounds that under pressure, world-class players
that
put
Harry
away.
Kane eats for breakfast. The
yeah.
kinds of rebounds that
And Salah, to be fair to him, often wouldn't even miss the pen. I don't know what happened there. Maybe Schmeichel's movement threw him off, or he just thought he could send the keeper one way, and then when the keeper didn't go, he just thought, I'm going to hit it as hard as I can to one side. But by that point, it's too late to put it in the corner. It's also too late to make it go high or low. So it's a comfortable height for the keeper. It's not too far in the corner. And Schmeichel reacts it just jumps at it like a cat.
How do you think Liverpool's going to react now? Do you think it's a worry sign for them, or they're going to treat it as a normal game?
Look, now they're 6 points behind City.
Yeah.
They don't have that game in hand that they did with Leicester. It's a tough ask to chase Manchester City, even with 3 points, being 3 points behind. 6 points is a tough ask. They still have a long way to go. They're going to react the way Liverpool does, with cutthroat aggression, and if not their next game, the one after, they are going to batter some team very soon and take this frustration out, because that's the kind of team Liverpool
Yeah,
are.
well, let's talk about Tottenham as well for a change, because we know that Conte's now come up with a record for Tottenham that has not been seen before.
Yeah, is it the first 7 games being unbeaten in the Premier League for any Spurs
For a new manager,
For a new manager. So credit to him. I said it'll take a bit of time to see that Conte counter-attacking come through, but the defense he seemed to have sorted out relatively quick, even though there are moments where they don't have it all together. But the way they lost as well this last game, very marginal, like I said, so you can't fault them too much. And Conte deserves form. They're doing well, and their fans should be happy. But let's not forget that they're out of the Europa Conference League. Not just due to a COVID game, but because for the first 5 games they couldn't wrap it up in time. So they are, now that they're out of that, hopefully they focus on the league and they can continue this form. And if we see Conte continue it, good things to expect from Spurs. Very good attacking talent on that team.
A good attacking talent indeed. You've got to give them that credit that they're now coming up as a team as well. But overall, it's been a good action of Premier League as well. And just a final note, Sabeel, very quickly on the Crystal Palace and Norwich game.
Norwich are, you said they're getting relegated. The funny thing is they're only 3 or 4 points away from safety. But the way, excuse me, maybe they can mount a comeback later on. So Crystal Palace, Vieira, incredible. I've said this before, give him all the credit for what he's done there and how exciting he's made them to watch. And West Ham continue their domination against Watford. They have to keep this pressure up, because if they want to get into top 4, it'd be an incredible story. And they're not too far off, so they can do it.
Definitely. Sabeel, thank you so much for joining us on the segment of football and the show as well. Time to take a look at our segment recap for football. And we discussed the English Premier League in detail about the Foxes, that is Leicester City beating Liverpool, the Reds 1-0, Lookman getting that lone goal, Salah's penalty being saved by Kasper Schmeichel. Also discussed Tottenham as well, and also had a chance to talk about the Norwich Crystal Palace game as well. That's all we have time for, but before we go, we've got our regular viewer, sends a lot of feedback. Her name is Talat Zamir. We just found out that she is ill. So I think the entire team of Sports Extra, PTV World and PTV in general, everybody would like to wish Talat a speedy recovery. We hope that you grab your health soon and are able to tune into Sports Extra again and send all your feedback once again. So sending lots of prayers and good wishes your way, and a speedy recovery to you, Talat. On that note, from me and the entire team, it's goodbye for now.